Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Talks One podcast. So, today we have an interesting topic that we are going to discuss about the career of a professional who has been working in IT for over a decade. Many times you would see that people jump into IT because it demonstrates fast progression. There are multiple jobs. Many people have done their engineering, so it's a kind of a natural choice. And people from all disciplines, whether it is computer science, electronics, mechanical, civil, everyone is able to jump into an IT career. We have seen this for the past 20-25 years that waves of engineering graduates join mass recruiters like which companies, TCS, Infosys, Accenture, IBM, etc. And some of them also join public, basically MNCs, FANGs, and big tech companies as well. However, the initial decade is very fruitful in IT because you see rapid rise. Once you switch your job, you see salary growth by 20%, 30%, even 50%. And during my own career, also, I have seen the initial decade is very tremendous growth. If you are paying your dues, you are smart with your work, you also put in a lot of effort, then career progression is very swift. However, one thing is to be noted is once you cross that 10 to 12 years of trajectory, then there is a kind of a stagnation that kind of shows up in your career. And if that stagnation continues, it can be very, very devastating for your career. I mean, if you see all around you right now what is going on, you will see there is a strong bias against hiring people who are over 35 years of age. And this 35 years of age kind of coincides with 12 to 14, maybe 15 years of experience. If you start your career at around 2021, by 35, you're already having 14 to 15 years of experience. I mean, if you did a master's or something like that, then probably you have 12, 13 years of experience by that time. And it has been like that not only now, but it has been the case since the past 2 decades or so. There is a specific reason wherein why employers do not want to hire people with more than, I mean, if you see even the job openings that are out there, most of the job openings would be 2 to 5 years of experience, or 4 to 8 years of experience, or max it would be uh, you know 7 to 15 or 7 to 12 years of experience. These form the ideal range of people that these companies want to hire. The moment you cross that 10, 12, 15 years of experience range, then basically there is a strong bias against you. Basically they don't want to basically hire you. Akshat Rastogi is commenting, ageism is there in US as well. I thought only India has it. You are very right. India also has this strong ageism, and ageism is there in the US as well. There are multiple factors that actually result in this kind of ageism against people. In fact, in the US, it's a crime to do ageism, especially if a person is above 40 years of age. That's the mandate in the US. Of course, in India, there is nothing like that. And even if it is there in India, nothing is enforceable. Even in the US, it is extremely difficult to enforce this kind of crime. It comes under protected grade in employment opportunity organization, as you would see. So the important point to note here is that this is going on, and I have actually interacted with a lot of founders and even CXOs in different various companies who have actually mandated that go bring in people who are young blood, let's pump in the young blood and things like that. In fact, even the workforce that is there, they would rather like hire people with couple of years of experience rather than spend money on people with 10, 12, 15 years of experience. And think about people who are already in the range of, like, say, 15, 20, 25 years of experience. It's almost like a death spell for them. So There are multiple reasons. Let's go through the reasons why we experience this kind of a thing. So first of all, once you gain a lot of experience, you would see that your compensation basically goes very high, right? So generally people who are above 10, 12, 15 years of experience are already in the senior staff, principal engineer, or even like distinguished or fellow engineer kind of a category. And any of these titles comes with a very heavy price, right? So companies such as Meta, Google, and such, a principal engineer is equivalent to a director. And clearly, even in India, director in these companies is easily going to make about 2 to 3 crore rupees per annum. That would be their compensation. And if we include their stock options and things like that, this can easily go from 2 to 5, 2 to 4 CR as well. That's a rough range that I'm giving. In the US, a director would be easily making, again, as I said, principal engineer is equivalent to a director in these companies, and they will easily be between 1 million to 1.5 or 1 to 2 million kind of a range. I'm talking about people not with specialist or niche skills such as AI or LLM and things like that. This is normal grade engineering, whether it is front end, back end, distributed system, any area. If you are a principal engineer in these companies, you are going to be within the range of 1 to 2 million if you are sitting in the US, or you would be making 2 to 4 or 2 to 5 CR if you're sitting in India. That's the kind of salary they pay to this level of engineering folks. So this should tell you that even in non-FANG companies, such as, let's talk about Rippling, Airbnb, Uber, and such, Jane Street, let's take the name of that as well. Even here also the companies are paying tremendous amount of compensation. So many times these companies many times these companies avoid basically hiring such people because they don't want to basically pay that much amount of money, right? And anyone who has worked in software understands that uh, once you have spent like 4 to 5 years or maybe 6 7 years, technically you have become very conversant in the software. If you work in the same domain as you were working earlier, uh, you generally do not add lot more value as the experience goes on, unless you basically experiment with different domains and build a like a pie shaped scale. So let me define a pie shaped scale. I've made a podcast also on that. I define a pie shaped scale as if you have deep expertise in multiple domains, maybe 3 or 4 domains. So maybe machine learning, distributed systems, database, information retrieval, cryptography, security. These are some of the domains. Let's say fraud management, risk management, payments, etc. If you have multiple deep level expertise in multiple domains, and then you can apply this expertise in multiple, even more extrapolated across multiple other domains as well. This is considered as pie shaped scale. So those people are considered as polyglots or people with differential skill levels. They are not fixated on just one or two skills, and they try to leverage that. But these people are the ones who have expertise in multiple other domains, and they can extrapolate this to several other adjoining domains or even domains that are not adjacent to them as well. These people are in very high demand, but very limited amount of people are able to demonstrate these kind of skills. So those people are required, and they command even more higher salaries. So generally people who tend to be like solution architects, or people who are at like fellow level or distinguished engineer level, they must have those kind of pie shaped skills to be successful in their domains, because they do not focus on one system or one subsystem, but they work broadly across organizations, across multiple company units and things along those lines. So it's a kind of a must have, like it's like table stakes for these kind of people to be able to operate across multiple domains, right? In my own career, I have seen as you grow higher in the ladder, even if you are an individual contributor, You no longer just keep just designing one system or kind of writing code for one system, but expectation is that today you are going to work on a, let's say, authentication system. Tomorrow you are going to work upon a, let's say, a bidding system. Third day you are designing a supply chain management system. Fourth day you are designing a like a proxy system. So you have to basically apply your skill set on multiple different domains, and pretty much it is now expected that everyone should have some working knowledge of machine learning or AI, like how do you use these kind of systems, right? So that is an expectation from experts who are at a senior level. As I told, that many people are not able to cope up at that level, right? They are just experts in, let's say, security or privacy, or they are expert in, let's say, distributed system or DevOps or service engineering, right? Reliability engineering and things along those lines. So once th- those roles hit a kind of a ceiling, then there is no other growth path for such kind of individuals, because they're not able to extrapolate their expertise into a newer domain or other domains. They become stagnant in their careers, and at that point of time, these people are basically ejected out of their roles. So sometimes we also call them as dead end roles, because these people do not have the nuance or expertise to basically move beyond where they started out. So they have actually hit the like the top bottom, the ceiling of that particular role. Many times in a company, right, they do not require like a principal level service, site reliability engineer, right? They probably are okay with somebody mid level or junior level. So unless a company is a very high throughput internet company, they generally do not require that level of deep expertise in one niche area. They would rather have a like a broad based engineer who can tackle multiple domains. They will hire a principal engineer or a fellow engineer in that domain. So sometimes this is also a reason why, you know, a person who is just focused on one specific area will have difficulty in basically finding a job or requirements in the industry. Major part is like they call it as, these are like white elephants, right? Because anyone that you are going to bring in as a principal or a like a director or a VP, they are at a very high salary bracket. Because of the experience that they bring in, sometimes it is very difficult to even mold these people, right? So many people who have a lot of experience do not demonstrate adaptability. So even companies are biased against junior engineers or people in their 20s, because they think that they can be mentored, they can be molded, they will be adaptable actually. And because they demonstrate those possibilities, tomorrow the company may change their stack or they may try to pivot or get into a new domain. These people will be fast to pivot and move along with the tide. So those are the hopes and aspirations of the companies. That doesn't mean that it will actually get translated into the engineers also demonstrating those kind of things. But much often the tribal wisdom in these companies is to basically go ahead and hire younger people. Uh, Another thing is, as people gain an experience, right, they become very hardened in the ways that they do conduct their work. Their salary also continues to keep rising. Then sometimes we have also seen that people with a lot of senior talent actually tend to struggle to like perform at the optimal level what they used to 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. So it's a personal challenge also, because as people move into their 30s and all, generally they are married by that time, and they are married by that time and they get kids at that time. So they are no longer able to burn that midnight oil that certain times these companies expect. And people who are younger do not have family responsibilities. They tend to spend too much time in the office. Sometimes even their weekends they spend in the office. They like these perks when companies offer free food and cabs and uh, you know some of these higher pay master companies even offer like spas and food coupons and whatnot, stocked fridges in their offices. So many of these freshers or early career professionals tend to spend their weekends whole day in the company itself. Of course, if you dedicate like major portion of your time, like 10, 12, 15 hours just to perform work at the company, you would be seen as like hard worker, you would be seen as spending more time in the company, and you would have much more opportunities to perform work, right? As opposed to somebody who basically comes in at like 9, 9:30, doesn't socialize with many people, and they're gone by like 5 p.m. Even if they are delivering their work, they're top of their game, sometimes management and companies are biased against the people who say they are putting like 10, 15 hours a day. You have people like Narayan Murthy, multiple CEOs of startups and founders who push this narrative of like come to office, spend 10 to 12 hours a day at your desk, continue to churn code, continue to churn work, and younger people tend to be able to do this much more often than people who are, having family responsibilities, or women. Generally all these policies are extremely biased against women, because uh, women generally don't tend to, especially even in the Indian context, right, where we have issues of women's safety, especially during the night. We have issues with traffic congestion, wherein even if you leave at 6, you don't know when you are going to reach back to your home, whether it is going to be 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., especially nowadays when it is raining and all the monsoons are going on. It doesn't matter which city you are at, whether you are in Gurgaon, Noida, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, doesn't matter. So you may spend 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in traffic. So a lot of women tend to like want to basically leave home early, right? Not even early, they want to go back at the time which is already scheduled. Let's say the office is 9 to 5 p.m. or 9 to 6 p.m. They would rather go back at 9 to 5 p.m. and then socialize back at their family, or take care of their kids, or spend time with their aging parents. A lot of men also now do that, but somehow the expectation from the management is, if there is a bachelor man, they expect them to like socialize, go for a like smoking break, play some table tennis with the colleagues, like laugh on the jokes that the senior colleagues or managers makes, and things along those lines. So basically they have to do a lot of pretend that they're doing a lot of busy work, and just spend a lot of time at work. And it is just an expectation that people have, and many young men actually cave in for this, because they are not able to push back, they are not able to say no, and so it becomes a kind of a vicious cycle, right? So people who have family responsibility, who have seen the industry, are able to basically say no. Sometimes they also have options. uh, so they are not interested in like spending time in like company. They want to go back home, etc. So again, management doesn't like that. So all these factors, actually, if I were to summarize these, right, so one is the salary factor that we discussed, that the more senior person that you hire, higher salary is what you are going to give to them. So that goes against the senior level people. Secondly is the adaptability, that you have already worked so much, so many years in the industry, and you have hardened in the ways that you have got experience. So companies feel hesitant that tomorrow if I have to pivot or do certain changes, these people will not adapt. Third is the energy, or the culture fit that they use as an excuse, right? So they expect that young people will be quick to like pick up things, they will spend a lot of hours, but senior folks may not be very quick in like picking up new things, and of course they may not actually spend those many hours that are required. So that also goes against the senior level folks. Many people what expect, startups as well as companies, larger companies, expect people to bring in pie level skills, while they want to offer them, just one domain level income or salary, but their expectation is to bring in a pie level expert. Problem is that human beings, everyone is not that much diverse, right? Very limited number of people I myself have met who have pi level skills. I consider myself as one, but then not many people have those kind of skills, right? I have met several other people like that as well. So even though companies' expectation from senior level talent is that they are going to bring pi level skills, but the management itself lacks those kind of skills of pi level, or they themselves pigeonhole a person into saying that he is a back end engineer, he is a front end engineer, he is a full stack engineer, or he is a machine learning scientist, or this person is like payment gateway expert, this person is security expert, etc. Rather than saying that, oh, this person has multiple different domains or multiple different skill sets. So they're unable to find that kind of skill set, so they rather not hire one expert in one area. They'll rather have junior to mid-level engineers in different domains and make them work together. So all those things basically go against senior level people, and as a result, I've been seeing this from the past 20-25 years, that as you start hitting those ages of like 32, 33, 35 at the most, you start seeing that they're being pushed out, or if you even try to apply job outside, there are not many opportunities. A lot of things have changed in the last 10 years because a lot of GCCs have opened up in India. A lot of product domain companies have opened up in India, which tend to hire a lot of principal engineers with 12 to 15 years experience and sometimes even 20 years experience. But again, those opportunities are far in between, right? They're not quite as many as you would have desired. Let me read a comment from Rohit Talwar. 28,000 startups have shut down in India in the last 2 years. Very rightly said, Rohit. There are just tons and tons of companies. In fact, I was reading just the other day, I forgot the name of that startup. They just laid off everybody. Like they had only, I think, 17 or 18 people over a Zoom call. And out of nowhere, they just said that we don't have salary. We're shutting down the entire company. So that also happened. Those are unfortunate times which we are going through right now. But what I'm describing right now, even without these basically layoffs that are going on, uh, people are against people with who have higher years of experience. So this ageism is real. It's a problem in the US, it's a problem in India, because there is a strong bias to hire younger people. And next comment is from D. भाई तेरे से बड़ा नेगेटिव आदमी कोई नहीं है, सारा दिन बैठकर आरो, अच्छी जॉब है तब भी रो, सिर्फ रो तू। uh, ठीक है सर, मैं तो हंस रहा हूँ, बट ठीक है, दैट्स ओके, I'll ignore this comment. But at the end of the day, point is that knowing positive and the negative sides both is very very important, so that you can prepare yourself accordingly. Since I have seen this play out as a hiring manager myself, and because even if I am not kind of biased, my mandate that is given to me by the HR, or let's say from the founders top above, or CXOs, they will force you to basically focus on those roles itself. That is the problem actually. So you cannot change that concept actually. So especially people who are young in their career should be aware that the moment they reach their 30s or mid 30s, it is very important that they be prepared, that your retirement may be forced, you may be pushed out. So be prepared. The only saving grace for people is that by the time they hit 30s and all, they should have already moved into strategic roles. So if all you're doing is writing software, or you are like limited, or you have got stuck in your career, that you are at a staff level or a senior engineer level, and you're not able to jump into principal or distinguished or those kind of opportunities, or move into a director or a VP level opportunity, more often than not you are done basically. So it's a kind of a red herring that I'm sharing here, based upon my true experience and what I've seen across the domain. So please take it as a sound advice. If it has not happened with you, great, good for you. But this is the fact. Just try to look around, and you will see whether what I'm telling is actual truth or not. Anybody who has spent 15, 20 years, who are in their 30s and 40s, will more often than not guaranteed tell you that they have faced ageism in promotions, in finding new roles, and also being number one and the layoff list as well. So let me read Himanshu Dwivedi. Is there any opportunity in China, as I have heard that they have done quite well in AI? Sir, opportunities are there in China for sure, but right now China itself is going from a transformation. There are a lot of multiple reports that are demonstrating that the GDP that China is showcasing is fake. The growth numbers that China is showcasing is fake. So I have also been seeing reports where a lot of Chinese companies are doing extreme layoffs right now across the domain in their e-commerce sectors, in their infrastructure sectors, AI, drone setups, etc. So since China is a very closed economy and not many news outlets basically showcase what's going on in China, looks like right now there are difficult times going on in China, much worse than even in the US at this point of time. So that's all I can tell. So I wouldn't say, it would be great opportunity to go to China at the very moment. Rohit Talwar, very good facts shared here. I have seen it's not knowledge skills, it's like and dislikes. Senior folk from groups and sideline performers in their early 30s. Very, very rightly said, Rohit Talwarji, and that's what I have also seen, and that is why I share those things, because sometimes people, even if you tell them these things, they're so engrossed in this their thought process that they will ignore the information that is flowing. They have that mentality. You have a horse who is pulling the cart, and they have blinders in front of the horse, wherein the horse only sees in one direction. They cannot see sideways, both sides, right? That's how a lot of people in IT basically work. They ignore all the information they work until they are laid off, and then they don't know what to do because they have never looked around. They have never tried to extrapolate their skills. They just focused on one thing, that I am a Java engineer. I'll continue to do Java, and Java has a lot of scopes and opportunities. And until it no longer basically rings a bell. By this time, they're already 30, 35, and they're out of the job, and now they do not know what to do. So Rocker 007, I'm 32, working in ITC Infotech. In my team, there are 35 and 42-year-old guys, both having 5 years of experience. But we should work on passive income and plan beforehand, before some forced retirement. Very good. That's the right take, Rocker. You have a very right thought process, because, as I said, the moment you cross that 30 bar, then you only have few years left, unless, as I said, you move into like principal, distinguished engineer levels, or you are already a director or VP by now. If you have not caught onto that ladder, it will be very difficult to survive at the same level at which you are at. So it is very important we understand these things, and either prepare like a backup, or pivot, or move into a different career trajectory. Do whatever it takes, but don't sit idle and just continue to do what you have been doing in the past. uh, and as I said, this is not basis on the layoffs that are happening for the past 2 to 3 years. I'm not sharing this information. This has even been true 10 years ago. This has been true 20 years ago. This has been the truth, actually. So I did not feel that much, because I was going through those early career ages and all. So it was a rapid career progression and good salary, good opportunities, etc. But once you are in that 30s bracket and 40s bracket, it will start hitting you as a brick. And it's true for US. It's true for India as well. Rohit Talwar, one of my friends in an MNC with 20 years experience, is a senior director, sales senior director, but no one reports to him. He is account manager. He is 52. The fun and charm has gone out of the IT industry. Very, very right. I know of a lot of people who are titled as director, even in companies such as Oracle and Salesforce. They have 0% reporting to them. In fact, I have a friend who was a director of product management at Oracle in OCI out of Seattle, and in the last layoff, all his team members were removed, and he moved in as a like a individual contributor. So this is also quite possible. Once you become a people manager with five, six people reporting into you, any day a layoff can happen, and if you do not transition into an IC role, then you are also gone. So you need to have hands-on skills also in IT. Back in the day, 10 years back or 15 years back, once you are director, you can easily, manage strategic cases and all. You have a big team of 50, 20 people. They're working for you. No more now. In fact, you would see Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft have laid off a lot of people at the middle management layers, where you have all these senior managers and directors and VP. They have been stripped of their roles and responsibilities. Some people were clever enough that they pivoted into like becoming a principal engineer or a distinguished engineer, or were willing to go an individual contributor route to weather the storm. And then again, when the right opportunities present, they can again function as a people manager. So, in the last 2 3 years, I've seen many people who are running like orgs of 50, 100, 200 people stepped into like an individual contributor role as a director or a VP, and they were able to save their job. Sometimes, even then, they were not able to save their job, they were still laid off as well. Himanshu Dwivedi, a good insight about China, but specifically in tech, the rise in AI like DeepSeek seems promising, opens a lot of opportunities in the future. Also, US advantages going to end in near future. Yes, Himanshu, you are right. DeepSeek created a lot of waves. I have made like a podcast also on them early this year. I think in January, if you check out my podcast, and at that point of time, it seemed great, but you see, slowly, it lost its sheen. Now, I don't think many people are using DeepSeek. Again, the focus is back on Grok or Gemini or OpenAI. Yeah, yeah, anthropologic, right? People are again back to the US dominated models and US dominated generative AI. Uh, Sure, US dominance may basically go down in the future. I agree with that. But as of now, like what is visible to our naked eye, at least in the next few years, which is like 2 to 5 years, I don't see US going down. In fact, all the top models that you see right now, all the top companies who are like really pioneering the frontier models in generative AI, they're all in the US right now. So you can expect a lot of interesting things from Google, from OpenAI, from Microsoft. In fact, the Stargate project that Trump announced earlier this year, where they are going to invest $500 billion on AI, maybe that will also come out with some interesting things. So we should all basically be ready to see what basically comes out of that. Meanwhile, in China, of course, they have spent a lot of money, but right now I haven't seen a really unique frontier model in generative AI coming from basically China. DeepSeek is also like a distilled model built over OpenAI, so it's definitely optimization on time and space and dollars, but it's not unique in its perspective of uh, like surpassing new frontiers in generative AI, or reducing the number of hallucinations that we see, or being more reliable, as there is always a lot of questions upon generative AI. So we have to wait and watch for that angle actually. But today's conversation has been focused on primarily like there is ageism is real, and as you grow in your ages, if there are people who are in their 20s and all, make sure you maximize your money. You try to optimize on the money as much as you can earn. If you can go outside and earn in dollars, please do that, because as I said, unless you move into those strategic roles, the opportunities once you are in your 30s and all will start dwindling off. The same person who had multiple recruiters reaching them out when they were in 4 to 8 years of experience bracket would feel as if it's like crickets in their inbox the moment you are in that 12 to 15 years or 12 to 20 years bracket. So please take this as a advice, don't like a suggestion. This is not an advice. And again, you would have exceptions where people are like really successful. They have 20 years experience, 25 years experience, but these people are mostly like very top notch in their game. They're already like distinguished engineers, or they are like VPs in these organizations. And again, when the layoffs and things like that also happen, these are the first level of people who get fired, because their salaries are very very fat as well. So that's all I had from my side today. I hope you enjoyed this session. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And if there are any comments, any suggestions, or any other topics, please do write to us. We'll look and we'll come back with the podcast with that. Do review some other podcast on this channel. We have close to, I think, 300 plus, or maybe even close to 400 podcasts that are already published on this channel. It has wealth of information. I think it will be very very fruitful for all of you. I understand whatever I speak, whatever I state may not be good for everyone. We cannot, solve for everyone. I'm sharing my personal experiences and what I have seen in the industry. I hope some of these things, even 1% of that, can benefit in your career, your life. That's a big blessing for me. With that, I'll end my stream today. Talk to you soon and have a great day. Enjoy.